it amazes me sometimes. Especially when I get on social media and look at some of that there and these different marketing pages and whatnot. What some people are paying for, customer acquisition cost. Do you understand and do you know what your customer acquisition cost? And I'm not insulting your intelligence with that, but have you ever sat down and said, yeah, can you answer that question for your business, let's say? Even if you've got 50 accounts or 100 accounts or 200 accounts, it doesn't matter how many you got. Can you say, yeah, it costs me $112 is my customer acquisition cost, or I'm spending $270 for customer acquisition, or I'm spending $53. You need to know that number. And there's a lot of reasons you need to know that number. And, that client acquisition cost is going to be different for different services too. So we got to think about that side of it too. And I'm not going to get into all that we talked about the other day, but there's ways we can bring down that customer acquisition cost. And what we can do is track where those phone calls are coming from. Whether it's your website, whatever form, there's a million different things you might be doing. And we're not going to talk about all that, but regardless of what's making that phone ring, the most important thing is that you find out why that phone rang. How'd they hear about you? Why'd they call you? Because that's how we can bring our customer acquisition costs down, is to track that and know what works. And we look at marketing and, I get it all the time that I don't need to advertise. Man, you're constantly marketing and advertising your service and branding your service. And why is marketing so important? Let's look at that for just a second, because I really didn't talk about that much. Why is marketing so important? If you want to break it down to its simplest terms, I think we got to look at it and say, okay, what's marketing do? I think personally, marketing exists just to support the sales process, right? It supports sales. Sales supports your cash flow, right? And cash flow and profits what supports the business. So that's why marketing is so important. Not just trying to go out and acquire new work, but the image that you project, and we're going to talk about that, and how that affects that phone ringing. So, I guess the takeaway is, when we look at marketing, the first thing we got to do is imagine what we want to do, or think about what we want to do, and think outside the box. Kind of like that Brad Paisley song. What is that what's in that corner? My God, that's my child. What's in your marketing corner? What's in your marketing corner? Can you imagine it? Because you got to imagine it before you see it. I know some of you guys are familiar with Famous Amos cookies. If you're not, it's a brand of cookies. But that gentleman there was the first person. At one point, cookies were available in a bag or a box. It was, you bought it, like a whole bunch of them, But he said, hey, man, I want just 3 or 4 or 5 cookies. I want a single serve. Oh, man, everybody told me that was the dumbest thing in the world. But you know what? He went on with it. He promoted it. He marketed it. He advertised it. He branded it. And guess what? There's all kinds of single-serve cookies. So look at it. Look at your marketing and say, I'm going to do something different. It may be the same delivery methodology. It may be an Everdoor direct mail. It may be a website. It may be social media ads. It could be a million things. It could be door hangers. It could be flyers. It's your truck. It's your employees. It's if you're in uniforms. But just do it different and better than what your competitor's done it. The customer's perception is our reality. And that's exactly what I'm talking about right here is your marketing and advertising is either creating a positive perception about your service and how you can help somebody, or it's trying to repair a negative perception that's been put out there by somebody, regardless of who did it, why they did it. It doesn't matter. You know, maybe it's just somebody that's mad at you. They're pissed off at you. And they're like, oh, I'm going to do all I can to shut this down. Or I'm going to get on Facebook and say, man, this is the worst lawn service, man. They don't even put the right product down. They don't put the right rate down. They ought to see their trimming. They go on and on and on and on with the negativity. And that's okay. That's okay. Know that your marketing has to overcome that negativity that's out there. But you got to think outside the box to either fix that negative or create the positive perception. What does your company's image project?